off a crazy line like that at Gulfstream that's come back and won, and you had the other one on top. The other one was a short race. The George Weaver horse at Aqua closing weekend.
I hit a small late double because of you when they came out of the paddock for the 8th race.
How could that horse be 6-1 in there?
When they came out of the paddock and then got onto the racetrack, the filly I liked was all washed out. And I said, I don't really like, she's going to be aggressive now with the and I threw your horse in a cross double, and I hit the dead heat in the last. I didn't have the favorite.
I had no idea who won.
I
thought that the inside might have won. I thought you might have lost.
Well, I wanted to bet 3 horses, and all 3 of them scratched.
I know, it was crazy.
And Linda was all that was left, so.
That may be the only time you triple scratch into a winner, and you had to share the pot.
And then from 5-1 to 490.
You won a lot of very, very difficult random coin flips to get there. What else do we have? We have the Belmont Stakes tickets. Head on out. It's 4 weeks from today.
Amazing.
Hard to believe.
Can't wait.
Hard to believe. I have good friends who have birthdays like every Saturday, starting today. My friend John's birthday. Anyway, actually, this is big of my sister's tomorrow. Another for my friend Bruce's Monday.
Wow. Bruce's Monday. All right. Yeah. Bruce is a long timer. Yeah. And then Andy's birthday is Belmont Day.
Yeah. Anthony will be accepting gifts on my behalf.
Yes. As always.
Anyhow, what else do we have? We have the show today. So it's 4:30 to 5. This is on FS2. 4:30 to 5, and then 9 to 11:30. I know we're on from 2 to 6 overall.
Right.
I'll be on 4 to 6 overall. You'll be on 9 to 11:30. A little Meadowlands. Did you bring your? Me
and Acacia. I got my PPs in the office. No, I didn't bring my silks.
You didn't bring your silks?
No, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it next time. I promise. I gotta find them.
Maybe Saratoga.
I packed them all. Definitely in Saratoga. Yeah. They'll just go straight out onto Caroline Street.
The Hambletonian. Yeah. Sort of like another member that used to be at Naira used to wear the work attire downtown. But that's another story. Anyhow, better be wearing something downtown than nothing at all.
That's what I was going to say.
So the day started out with a horse I really wanted to bet on, Conquest Scratch. Now, as you could say to me, that was a good scratch for you. Perhaps it was, but we'll never know, or at least till he runs again. And I've had enough of the horse you picked on top, Eminency. He's just, how much money does he need to burn before you give up?
No. Well,
you're so loyal to Rudy.
This could be it. Today could be this could be it. There's some word on Bruce Levine, on the 9 Fortunes nephew. I like this horse's work tab. Not much pedigree here. Dan was 0 for 8. The production has not been much, but there's word that this horse can run. And before I got word, I put my picks in. And it was just odd that it was a strong work tab for a guy who really doesn't.
Rudy's firsters can go up at prices. That 2-year-old that I lucked into basically today, whenever 6-1.
And obviously, to me, the tip off here was Ryder Ortiz Jr.'s name to ride this horse. He's ridden 6 horses for Bruce Levine in the last 17 months.
Oh, this horse.
Yeah. So.
Oh, there's a big story here.
I'd say a big story. There's a story this horse can run a little bit.
I figured, as you say, with Irad riding, there was. This horse's pedigree is just
it's nothing.
Atrocious.
It's nothing. I just said 0 for 8. The other 3, and they're all fortunes. I think it's boy, girl, and sister. There's just not much there, but
now they're getting into the nephews,
nepotism,
cousins,
yes, it's nepotism
eventually.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you'll go to cousins,
in-laws,
third cousin twice removed. Who knows where it's going to go from here? But like I said, I got word after I put the picks in. But you see a rad, you see the work, the work tab. You almost have to include the source in a race where you're right. And you could say this is the point where you would normally say to me, well, why wouldn't you put the source on top? I guess I could have put the source on top. We'll see.
You should have.
I probably should have.
Because the 3 is just
the 3 is who he is. I know. You're right.
Listen, and the 3 is obviously good enough to win the race, and at some point they're going to win, and we'll get in that discussion. I think it's tomorrow when Bailout runs tomorrow.
I got Maggie tomorrow. I'm not here tomorrow.
You're not here?
No.
Well, I'm happy to have Maggie. You're abandoning me tomorrow?
Yeah, sorry.
You telling me now?
In
front of everybody?
I thought you would know.
Might tear up. Anyhow, as far as Devil Boy, he's going to be the first of 2 horses I scratched into. I scratched into this one, the other one I picked, where I have terrible trainer stats. But he is the best horse if he can find his form, but I did find a trainer stat for Jeremiah Englehart. And see, I do have bad stats for people that I'm friends with, too. It's contrary to popular belief. He's 1 for 17, off these kind of layoffs. And I think I had an extended stat on this just in general, the numbers. It's actually not that bad if you look at Finger Lakes. Not nearly as bad, but at Naira they haven't come back. I mean, this horse is pretty good. Last time out in the mud, he didn't break. he just didn't seem to really handle it. But
No.
he's very hard to trust. He's been out. But I will say, if he shows up and he can still run, isn't he supposed to beat these horses?
He
Depending
is.
on obviously the 9's the first.
Right, obviously the 9, right. I mean, Eminency has races. Yeah, I just didn't trust the layup.
No, I don't
$30
either.
can obviously win.
I don't either.
This horse is going to be the favorite in all likelihood, unless the 9 takes the first takes a ton of money.
Tough for Bruce Levine.
Tough
to
for
go
Bruce
off
Levine to be
favorite,
very- and right,
Irad or
yeah,
not.
right.
And
I
Bruce
don't
had
disagree.
a winner first time out in the turf back at Aqueduct.
Castellano, I think, for Flying Pig for Jay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Jay's doing better, by the way. I know a few people
What was
were
wrong?
asking. Jay was in the hospital for a little bit. He's okay.
Oh, okay.
He's good now.
You didn't tell me.
He's
I'm
good.
glad he's doing better.
I forgot I was doing that show at
I
Lafitte.
mean, a man who brought me pizza during the pandemic at Saratoga on almost a daily basis. I don't want anything to happen to him.
Yeah, Jay's the man.
Still have those pizzas? That was you were gone by then.
I was
but
gone
I would
by then, yeah.
get off the air and there would be Jay with pizzas waiting.
I had Jerry Brown tomatoes and eggplants to get to. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, Andy.
drop him off at my mom's house. Race number 2, Anthony serves many. He wears many hats.
Jerry serves many. I do the deliveries.
So, race number 2, Stanhope. I put him second. I just can't put him on top. We'll look at his last race. There's a part of me that just kind of wants him to win. I feel like he deserves a win.
Get him out of this. Get him out of the condition,
he deserves
right?
it. This horse has really run. He's run really well in a lot of races. He even ran okay in the dirt over the winter, though he was originally a dirt horse for Shug. And the truth is, Subsidized got a very good trip, and Subsidized is better and probably might be better than the horse he runs against
yeah,
here. There's a
I
lot
don't
of
disagree.
question marks in this race.
This is going to sound really stupid coming from me, but the weight off actually.
Plenty of stuff doesn't come down.
The weight off actually played a little role here, combined with the fact that he got one of the best gate riders in the room in Jose Gomez. Not that Castellano did anything wrong last time, but when you have a horse like this who doesn't want to win, any edge you can take helps. And getting that 5 pounds might help his cause, and he's going to be in front, and he's got a kid on his back that's going to get him to the front.
Do you think he'll be second choice? Then they'll make the 2 the favorite.
I would imagine he's going to be favored in here.
Maybe not. I mean,
I'm not going to
look
argue.
at Ring of Fire. And
He has the recency.
He does. That's
He has
the
the
thing to
recency.
me. Ring of Fire. Now this is the win 2 back for him, and I get that his figures winning are better than Stanhope's.
They
and
are.
that's the case of. We'll talk about the layoff horses towards the outside in a minute, but this horse got unbelievably great trips, and I'm going to say, you know who that is in front? It's Stanhope.
That was good old Stanhope.
Poor Stanhope. I think that was Louis Saez. It was Louis Saez. And Louis did what you got to do. You just let him roll along, and
He ran 7th with that lead at the 8th pole.
I got nothing but love for Stanhope. Ring of Fire is just a horse that's been able to take advantage of circumstance. Like you, I've got him in the mix, but I feel like he's a little dressed up, and he's a layoff horse at a short price.
The last race is a little troubling, and it's a little it's a big question mark here because he's not. I know his figures were okay. He's not really a dirt horse. So the winter, but he ran well enough on the dirt where you could say, well, maybe.
I agree with you.
Right, he's not. But his turf races are just exponentially better than his dirt races. So we can assume it was a winter break for the turf.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But off of that last race.
Well, his last race, he was in against horses.
He was in against way tougher. I
with
understand.
an engine on his back.
But Andy, he didn't run 2 steps.
No, I know. It's fair.
He didn't run 2 steps.
No, it's fair.
And he ran well enough on the dirt for a barn that wins races in bunches on the dirt where you say, well, maybe you'll give him a race to get ready for the turf, and he didn't. So I do wonder if there was more than a winter break to the last effort.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Now, what do we do with the 2 Rob Falcone horses? And Rob, it's handicapping. We're not always going to like your horses, okay? It's just the way it works sometimes. It's not personal, even though you seem to make it personal. You've got stand-up that doesn't run for a year and a half, comes back on the dirt, and doesn't run, but he's back on the right surface.
Right.
He's got races that can win.
And that was absolutely had the look of a prep. He was part of an entry last time.
Right.
That absolutely looked like a race.
Has he been entered? Is there? There really hasn't been a race for him, has
No.
I guess he could have been in the race that Stanhope was in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have been in that race. It's not a big deal. It's not.
Right. Yeah. He won that starter. Did he win that starter at Kentucky Down at Saratoga?
Oh, you're right. He couldn't.
He's
have
not
been in that
eligible
race.
because of the layoff.
You make a great point.
So
it's probably the first spot he could have been.
Right.
Yeah.
It's probably the first spot he could have been.
And then there's Tenure. Now, I think Tenure's the better of the 2 horses, but And this is not an attack.
Problem is the breaking from the. He just doesn't break from the gate
And the other
anymore.
problem with him is, and I'm not, it is what it is. This horse lost his form after he left the Toscano barn. I mean, that's a fact.
Yes, he did.
And that's a concern. And then he's laid up off of lousy races.
He actually held his form pretty well when John claimed the horse from Christophe Colon.
He did.
But then, and the big problem now, the problem here is awkward, hesitant start, very slow start, off slow, broke in, hesitated lunge start. The question is with those layoffs, that's 4 races since October of 2020. The big question now is, does he want to do this anymore?
Well, except here's the counter argument to that. Listen, we both got him 4th, and he can win, and you're not saying he can't. Though that suggested he had a problem. And that's why he's been laid off. And that's why Rob's bringing him back now, saying that whatever the problem was, presumably is behind him. Now, sometimes it becomes mental with horses, too. But that getting left in the gate goes along with the fact that he ran poorly and couldn't get out of the gate. You know, they had an issue.
Right, gate open, and his day was over.
Because you have to admit, this horse can win. And
oh, absolutely. On his best day, he might be the horse to beat.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. It's just I don't want to take the layoffs. And I'm looking at this race, and I have no argument that the 1, 2, 7, and 8 are far and away the right horses. Big deal. I've narrowed it down to the first 4 choices. And I'm thinking there's not one of them I want to pick. So I looked at Loaded Joe, who does look a little ridiculous. And I'm thinking, so he comes off a 7-month layoff, and he was not projected to be involved in that pace last time.
No, it was too slow to be involved in that pace last time. On paper.
Spectatorless and fine for wine. The wine, not in
just
time.
In time for
just
wine.
in time for wine, or not in time for wine, depending
just in time
on
for
who
wine,
you are.
Yeah,
And what could be a more perfect prep than gunning him into that pace? And if you look at the race, he finished a city block ahead of the other 2 horses involved in the pace, and it's not as though he's a router. And if you actually think about it, considering how insane that pace was last time, he didn't even run that badly last time. And he does have 1 turf race where he ran okay. Look how well Repo Rocks ran for Greg DePrima. Look how well there's a horse that ran second the other day.
Greg does a fantastic
There's a horse
job.
that ran really well for him the other day.
His problem is he's going to have to.
A lot of bad horses.
Right. His problem is he's going to have to sit off of Stanhope.
Well, he's 1 rating.
And he has 1 rating.
But
then he's got to sit off Stanhope, and you got to hope both Falcone horses don't show. You got to hope Ring of Fire doesn't show. Now, they're all layoff horses, and he has recency. He has 9 days recency.
He's also going to be a big price in a race where I don't think you'll disagree. You don't want to run to the window to bet any of those horses.
Absolutely.
I did have one handicap.
Absolutely correct.
I was sure you would pick stand-up in this race.
Yeah, well,
I was
sure.
I'm pretty sure you pick a stand-up.
Oh, stand up? No, I picked
Getting
Stanhope.
Pratt. Oh, I thought he had all the look of to be uphill pick.
You're
I wrote
the wrong
down.
stand.
Race number 3 is the Vagrancy and the long-awaited return of Bella Sophia.
This is a rare day we're both in good moods, by the way. Maybe something really good's going to happen.
I'm always
today.
in a good mood. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's the first lie you've told of the day.
You know, I will say one thing. That is correct. You don't know if it's a first lie. First lie you know is this show puts me in a good mood.
Me too.
So Bella Sophia, we'll take a look at her winning the test. I thought I'd show her biggest win. And she's, Miss Brazil, who we'll talk about, has shown hints of being a very good horse.
Both have love for Miss Brazil.
But this horse has delivered in the big spots. She runs this race. She runs the big race in the Gallant Bloom. I mean, Lady Rocket ran some big races after that. And she's very good. She draws favorably on the outside. I have a bad Rudy stat off layoffs.
Yeah.
I still picked her because you feel like this is a horse that Rudy's horses may often need a race. And she's not going to run her best race, I would hope, today. But it's hard to believe Rudy's bringing her back needing one.
No, she.
But I did thought I'd show that.
You see a half a dozen works on the tab. She came to Rudy. I mean, obviously she came to Rudy prepared because Rudy worked her a half. He never worked a 3/8. So
and she won her debut for Rudy.
Correct, by a big.
Which, fortunately for the connections, wasn't an maiden claiming race.
Yeah. I mean, she.
Where's her bad race?
She doesn't have one.
I mean, she's even in the Breeders' Cup. She's never not shown up and run well.
She's never had a bad race. Yeah. She got beat, right. People look, that's her worst race. She got beat 5 lengths to CC, 3-time Grade 1 winner, Edgeway, multiple stakes winner, Gamine, defending champion of the race, and multiple Grade 1 winner.
Believe it or not, we should move along a little. Yeah. We're having too much fun. We'll take a look at Miss Brazil. Miss Brazil will improve off her return race, and you can say, well, she ran a 90 buyer. Well, she also rode a gold rail, and she's meeting incredibly better horses here. I don't want to just dismiss her, though. I mean, she has run good races, and she has recency. My problem is, if Bella Sofia shows up, it's very hard for her to win this race.
And she's got to chase Bella Sofia around there, and her
Bella
best
Sofia's
races have
probably
come
on her
when
flank.
she's controlled. Right.
Probably on her flank.
Yep.
Bella Sofia has stalked,
Yep.
as she did in the test.
Yep.
So it's not like Bella Sofia needs to be loose. I
Right.
mean, she's stalked in a number
Right.
of
If
her
Eric
races.
Hansell's intent with Miss Brazil, she could just sit there.
And if she lets Bella Sofia go,
it's over.
she has to hope Bella Sofia doesn't show up,
Correct.
which is always possible, which is why with Frank's Roquette, I thought she could be second in this race, and
Me
I think
too.
you and I had the same thought.
Yep.
And it's not a strong opinion. I say something about Frank's Roquette. We'll watch her last race. She got wired by a horse both you and I liked. There was an overlay in that race.
Yes, she
paid
was.
like 6 to 1, crazy price,
Yeah.
right? She's controlling speed. I feel as though one of the reasons that Frank's Roquette never lived up to the enormous promise and talent she shows a 3-year-old, not that she's run badly, she kind of took away her speed. She was a better horse when she was a speed horse.
Much
wasn't
better
she?
horse even when she was close. Like you say, oh, she was a length and a half off the lead. There was a time where they would have went 45, and she'd have been 2 in front of acting happy last time.
Yeah.
Acting out, not acting.
I think
acting
they
happy
won race like the Priors. They won those races stalking, and I just think she was a better horse in the front end.
The worst thing that
She's
can
still
happen.
good enough. Right, I agree. Sometimes horses' talent isn't their speed, but an interesting group of horses, and we're glad to see
Looking
Bella
forward to
Sofia.
seeing Bella Sofia back for
And
sure.
all of them are trying to get the Grade 1 ballerina at Saratoga, just like Anthony and I are trying to get to it. So in race number 4, you couldn't resist. You just couldn't resist taking the turn back because you just came and you said, I want Andy to lecture me about the stupidity of taking favorites that are cutting back in distance. We'll look at
I
this
didn't have
delicious.
a morning line. She's favored on the morning line? I guess she should be.
Speaking of that, do you remember this was the horse that I believe that Pete made like 6 to 1 or something in the December 22nd race, and I think he figured out she'd be a lot shorter, but not 3 to 5 in her next start, and we were all teasing him about it. Pete Aiello is a very good sport who makes the line, not only calls the race, but makes the line down there. He's a great guy. Totally agree with you. And he takes it seriously. It's not an easy job. I don't know, man. X-Dub and Maker cutting back in distance.
You're
going to give me a tough time with this race?
I did.
Just put her second
At one point, I was between. At one point, I had the 10, 12, and 8 on top.
The 12 just beat such a weak field last time.
I know.
That's the problem.
I know.
And she dominated them. To be fair with the 12, she had a bit of an issue, and that she was acting badly in the track 2 back, so you can dismiss it. 12 can win this race.
Of course.
Oh yeah, she's 9 to 2.
Yeah.
I thought that Happy Hill Lil, well, because yesterday you pointed out to me, and I actually made my picks before yesterday's show. I'm really joking, but you said to me that Gary Siak was mad at you, that you didn't make it. So I don't want Gary to be mad at me.
So you picked her.
So actually, Gary, you should be mad at me because I did pick you. If you had any brains, you'd be annoyed that I picked you. I'm a little surprised that you resisted the switch to Joel Rosario here. This is very unlike you.
It was only one.
I was worried.
It was one switch for me.
I knew you wouldn't pick Siaka because you never pick him, so I was safe.
It was a switch to Dylan. You know, I feel like the 10 Stella Mars is going to take some money. She has the recency, and she's getting the rider switch back to Dylan Davis. Dylan has ridden her twice, a win and a second. So I think she's
great last time, though.
Yeah, I know she did. I know he did. But I do feel like that jockey change will take some money. See, I'm surprised David has her so high on the line. I thought there was a chance she'd be the favorite in here.
Who?
Stella Mars.
She won't be.
I hope not.
I'm going to disagree. I mean, Happy Hill Lil got really good here at Belmont. Obviously, the going got tougher, and she sort of fell apart. But this seems like a decent spot for her. I thought she'd be a price, and I was just looking for somebody else. I mean, listen, you should be dancing. She ran last time. I don't know where it came from, but she was a different horse last time. I'm not convinced that she doesn't have a chance in here.
The infamous fifth pick for me.
I can't take Missing Link. I know she's the speed. I don't think she wants 6 for.
I
She
don't
was
either.
gift wrapped that race last time and just fell apart in the last 8.
Sounds ridiculous to say. I don't think she wants to go as far as this. I think she wants to go short.
I agree. I agree.
She has Monmouth Park written all over
I was just
her
going
at
to
some
say the
point.
exact same thing.
Yeah.
That probably Peter's giving her one more chance, 6 furlongs, and then he's got to sort of give up and just say, maybe you wait for Saratoga or you go to Monmouth for 5. Race number.
Find the starter race
we'll,
down there.
We'll break after the 5th, by the way, if that works. Race number 5. I'm not going to make a lot of fun of Anthony picking the horse that was going to be scratched in here. You didn't notice that rider and think maybe this horse is in there as protection for.
It's Kendrick's other rider. So
but he's not riding here today.
I figured one of them would scratch, and I wanted to pick.
Oh, I
Mr.
see.
Yeah.
I see.
I figured one of them would scratch. And
Anthony,
Kendrick would ride
I'm
the
going to
other.
say it. It's a good scratch for you. Let me tell you something about Chateau. He is his own rabbit. I'm going to show you the officiating Chateau Tom Fool, where Eppa Rocks ran third. Eppa Rocks ran huge last time for Greg. The thing about Chateau is when he's good, he's good. But when he's bad, he can stop under no pressure at any time. I remember teasing Rob Atras one day in Saratoga before he was running a race, and they said, one thing about Chateau, no lead is ever safe.
No.
You're never heading to the winner's circle with 100 yards to go with this horse because he can stop. And, Anthony, I don't like that he stopped like this. This race was gift wrapped to him, and he
I have
just
a theory.
lose.
I have a theory.
You've got a lot
I don't
of
think he went
theory.
fast enough. I don't think he went fast enough. And I think Kendrick, I think at this point in his career and in their partnership, I mean, they've teamed up.
Well, the time before, though. He went slow, and he still won.
He didn't go that slow. That track was not that fast.
But they won 111 final
He's got to
time.
He's got to let them roll. And if that means going 44, so be it.
From
Just
your
let
mouth to
him
God's
roll.
ears.
Just let him roll. And if he gets it, listen, the worst thing you could do is rate a speed horse on the front end and get beat. Just let him roll.
If he wins, I lose.
Okay.
I'm using two horses in here. I'm using officiating who won that race. I don't know where that race came from. It's dichotomous to every other race in his PPs. He did run back in 22 days. I felt that he had to run the last race. Do you recall what the last race he was in was named?
Yes, it is in the it is in the stakes
Naira
race,
Bet
the Naira Bet
Sprint.
It's in the stakes roundup on Naira Bets
Naira Bet
for the
Sprint.
weekly blog.
One of the most important races run in America on an annual basis.
Won by Pudding. You know, I'm all about a horse named Pudding winning that race.
I like Pudding.
I don't mind Pudding. I'm not as big a Pudding fan as you would imagine.
We used to have Pudding when I was a kid, and we always had Cool Whip, the packaged whip. And my father always referred to it as plastic whip, the table. Sort of.
It didn't move. Cool, it doesn't move.
Right, called a plastic whip. And my brother had a friend over one night for dinner, and we were joking about calling it a plastic whip. It was a Serling family thing. And this kid said, "Could you pass the plastic whip, please?" Sort of a legendary story
Very
in the
good.
Serling
That's
family.
very good.
I like Drafted. He had no chance last time in the Carter. That was the killer field of killer fields. And it's funny with reinvestment risk. If he had been around last year, he'd already have a grade one win,
but
maybe
the sprint
two,
title will be over
maybe
with already.
two.
It's amazing.
And this year, it's just there's so many killers.
He's running the
with
buzzsaw after
Jackie.
buzzsaw.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the toboggan, and I mean, this is when Jose rode him, and this was a horse. It was Andy off, so I'm back on. Sorry, Dave. He's only won when you've shaken me off in races. He was like a wildebeest this day. I mean, Jose couldn't hold him on the backstretch.
This was a funky day, right? Happy Medium didn't show up as the 1 to 2 favorite.
Unfortunately.
And it was a weird track. It was one of those drying out tracks that was labeled muddy, but you could see them kicking it up. It was just a weird. Speaking of Fran and I wound up in the infield that day going through a tunnel. I had never seen at Aqueduct before. Wound up on the infield. It was 14 degrees. That's what I remember the other day. But I remember that racetrack being just a very strange track. And I remember saying to myself, "Oh, I'm not surprised Drafted finally got to the winner's circle on a strange day like this." That's my biggest problem with him, Andy. Like,
I don't think he ran that badly last time.
I don't think he ran that badly either. And maybe he turned the corner with the toboggan.
He's also
win.
been unlucky in a lot of
He has.
races.
Yeah, but
I like Drafted.
Okay.
I'm betting Drafted.
I picked him second.
By the way, one thing we failed to mention about tenure. I used to think tenure was 10-year. You know,
okay.
Tenure. He's running for the waiver, which is a good sign.
Sure,
tenure.
absolutely.
Failed to
Rob
mention
likes
that.
to do that. I mean, that's something.
Well, it's
we'll take
a
advantage of.
positive. I mean, if
I
he wanted to
agree.
get rid of the horse, he would not be running it for the waiver. All right, that's the first 5.
Break time.
Pick 6 in the carryover after a quick break.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets. But
one of them did. We're back. talking about important world matters here. This is a very interesting race. I'm sorry to see a couple of scratches come out of this race, and both horses are actually a little bit interesting. And, you know, Graham, if you're going to scratch the Euros, you could tell me so I don't have to waste my time on Racing Post. Racing Post, by the way, is a great site to use, just racingpost.com. It's got a little formulator thing for you. If you go in the search engine, you can look up the European horses, and you can get the fields they come out of it, and you can read up and look at the records, the horses they ran against. So when you get these Europeans, and we get a lot of them, especially when you get to Belmont and Saratoga, and it really doesn't take long. I highly recommend the Race Post site. If you are trying to use it and have any problems, you can always ask me on Twitter, and I'll try to help you out. But it's very self-explanatory and a very easy way to look up the Euros and at least give yourself a little feel. And also, if you're a member of Naira Bets, you can watch the races.
Yeah.
We've got pretty much all the European races.
Tracks.
And by using Race Post, you can figure out which race it is because they don't list the race number, but you can see which race it is. So there's a lot of good stuff. And their numbers. So all good stuff works together. So what do we got here for replays? Oh, Baby Blythe. I have a question for you about Baby Blythe, who you have on top and I have second.
Shoot.
We'll show her winning at Saratoga. Shug entered this race when it got rained off last week. They brought it back. Is he determined to get her a prep? Because don't you worry a little bit that she's a horse that wants a little more distance?
I do.
That's the concern. I'm no concern that she's super
No question
talented.
about it.
As you know, I loved her 3 races back, and like an idiot didn't pick her this day.
Feel like her maiden, her debut.
Debut was giant. We showed it.
Debut was giant.
Scary.
Right.
Scary how good it was.
Feel like she definitely needed. She looked like she needed the race off the layoff, which probably concerns me as much as the distance.
Which is why, well,
might even concern me more than the distance.
Which maybe why Sugar's running her the exact same distance he ran her off the layoff last time. It worked for him to go forward.
Absolutely.
It's not that he doesn't want to win or doesn't think he can win, but that concerns me a little bit.
It concerns me a little bit too. But then I went through the race. I did not do as extensive a work on the Euros, shockingly, as you did.
It's an upset.
The fact of the matter is this: unless one of those Euros, and now we take the one who's probably the most. Well, yeah. I mean,
the other. We'll get to them.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
In any event, what the other fillies have done in America, I think she's better than these fillies. So unless one of them can come up, and I also think maturity has helped her a little bit, 2 to 3. Now she's a 4-year-old. I think she's the most talented horse in this race. I think it's a pretty wide open race.
Oh, I think she's good. No,
yeah.
I'm not.
So I'm just going to
cut her second. I'm not against her. I worry that she might be a little bit short for the race.
Maybe.
It's a very tricky race. You decide to stop completely burying all the Klarovich, Chad Brown horses, and you're picking this one second. This is an interesting horse.
It's like a.
Oh, it's all turf.
Yeah.
But a Caleb's Posse turf dam.
That's what I mean. It's a little
I love
interesting.
Caleb's Posse.
She was 3 for 10. It was all turf.
It's first foal.
Yeah, first full.
One on the synthetic.
One on the synthetic. Right. Keep that in mind, folks, too. We're going to keep saying it on here with those off-the-turf races at Gulfstream. They go to the Tapeta, not the dirt now. So
they're listed in light blue on Formulator now.
Oh, it's interesting.
That's my light blue pen.
They should really. The DRF really needs to do something about making that indication.
It's tricky.
It's
hard.
Tricky.
You know, at Arlington, at least you know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's mostly been a situation at Arlington and Woodbine where they don't have dirt courses. Now you've got the problem down in Florida.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a horse player, frankly, it should be incumbent on you to understand.
You should know that too.
That
since
turf races at Gulfstream.
Since September.
To be fair, you know,
yeah.
DRS Formulator and DRF have done so much to help. When you go back 25 years, and I think of the work that I can do in 3 hours now, that used to take me 8 hours and 6 hours. Let's keep in mind all the changes. But I agree. It's not it's a tricky situation. They are listing them in light blue now, so maybe that's the reason they're doing it, at least in Formulator.
There you go.
So. Before getting the Euros, I want to talk about Miss Bellachow, who I picked on top. Her last race, which we'll take a look at, the horse who beat her, Queen Goddess. Do you remember her?
Queen Goddess is won the American Oaks.
She won the American Oaks off the dirt, but more off the turf, excuse me.
Came back and won the Santa Ana.
And she beat Going to Vegas, who's a very, very good horse.
Yeah, they're gonna.
So she lost a horse that really dramatically improved.
She's running today, actually.
And is she?
They're running in the same. It's her versus the filly that was third, Neige Blanche, in Santa Barbara today.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, you are really on top of your game.
It's a California blog on Naira Bets.
Anyway, I'm hoping that she's improved and comes here, and I think if Neil Drysdale ships her here, he's saying they've got a lot of turf opportunities in the East Coast, and I know the horses are going to be tougher here in general.
Mr. Karas is in tomorrow, so she's probably on the same.
But I mean, the competition is no. He's always. I think he's had horses stabled here for. I thought
last couple of years,
right?
Yeah,
he's had horses he's run here.
But
so anyway,
they both work. Just all the tabs have been at Santa Anita.
As far as the Euros, I don't. Yeah, I don't love the horse running in Germany in general.
Me either.
Feels like
Me either.
Angelica. On the other hand, Brad Cox has had some success. His Euro shippers on the turf, 4 for 15, 222 at Naira. He is 0 for 0. He's never run one. You know that? Angel Palm, who's going to take some money. Well, it's 12 to 1 morning line. I watched this horse's race at Keeneland, and I don't know why this horse is supposed to stretch out. This horse was absolutely atrocious last time.
She didn't run
out.
2 steps last
She
time.
was terrible.
Awful.
So maybe she'll run better, but we'll see.
She's never run beyond 7.
So race number 7, we knew the 1A would come out because the horse is entered tomorrow. We didn't know the 4 would come out, which takes some speed out of the race. There really is Bronx Bomber in a situation now where he can wire the field again.
Be amazing, wouldn't it, for a horse who tried so many times to get out of the last
Linda's going to
condition.
send this horse. She's got to send him,
You
right?
would imagine. You would imagine.
And I mean, I didn't like him, but you've got him 3rd, and I think you're right to have him somewhere because as it stands, Bronx Bomber, some may forget, was once a good speed horse, and they decided to start rating him, and he ran well enough, but he never won a race rating.
Right, we said we knew St. Selby was coming out. He's in tomorrow, and
I didn't know the 4 was coming out.
With him, right? You don't. But the fact that Bronx Bomber has run okay from off the pace, if he has to sit off Foolish Ghost, who off the layoff you figure is going to need one.
I would never use him unless he was clear.
All right.
I would never. I would never use him.
Now I was using him either way. Now he probably becomes a little bit of a bigger player because there's a good chance he's loose on the lead.
Late pick 5. Is there another middle pick 5 today too? Race 5.
Usually is when there's a.
That's your
that would
big
be
thing.
race 4, the bonus pick 5. Let's see. We'll be very excited if there is, Andy.
I think there's a bonus
There
pick
is.
4. And there's a
Mandatory
bonus pick
payout.
4 in race 5.
Bonus pick 5, mandatory payout pick 5, 4 to 8. Get
And there's a
cracking,
pick
folks.
4 also in races 5, 6, 7, and 8. There's enough action today for you.
Thank you for that.
Okay, we'll take a look at Mass Marauder, and he's a horse. Wow, you don't have him in the top 4. A Rudy Pitch. The question with him is where the heck?
What was that?
Where did this come from? Key Point ran a 92 buyer coming back here the other week. I digressed 3 points, won a common gallop. If he runs,
What did he run the other day? 89 key point.
92.
92.
If he runs back
Good
to this
horse.
race, Mass Marauder is going to win. But how can you?
If he runs back to this race, he's going to win. If he runs back to any of his other races, he can't win.
He'll run 80th. Right. He'll lose the next race.
He's going to be a bet off the last race. I'll tell you what. It's 6 weeks. That race had to take something out of him too.
I just don't know where it came from.
He had to get stung
And
like a bee out of that race.
I want to see it again.
Me too.
But I'm
and
not
at a
gonna-
short price, again, there's some. I mean, listen, there's a more interesting horse in his own barn in this race. In Gemography.
I agree. Gemography is an interesting horse.
I almost put
Claimed by
Gemography on
Mike
top.
Dubb. Yeah, I agree. I don't love, though, that they claim him for 62 and they're running him for 45. I understand. It's 85,000 and they'll get, mid-40s and they'll make a few dollars. But they've already had the horse run. They're not going to make a lot of money with a horse that could have been an interesting claim. And you almost feel a little bit like he ran so poorly last time out. Now, he was against the track last time, to be fair. But still, that's like, I don't love the drop with him.
Maybe.
But don't get me wrong. I've got him second. I'm not.
Yeah.
So talk about 7.
Seven Willie's just a consistent horse, and I mean he's really turned the corner from that December race. I mean these races that he's run, save the start 2 back, and that Whistling Birds came back and won one of the Claiming Crown races.
I think he's been incredibly consistent. He's
Yeah.
been in a lot of races, didn't have pace, and I also feel like 7 furlongs is better than a mile for him.
No
I think he's a
question.
better closer, and Whistling Birds just ran off the screen.
I think the mile's probably a
against him.
little out of his scope. I think the 6 is probably not what I think the 7 hits him right between the eyes. Yeah, I mean, I just thought he was a horse that made a lot of sense. Gemography, like you, the thing that scared me away from picking him on top was the drop. It was the drop and the way he ran last time. But and 7 Lilies just comes with a good performance after good performance.
If the race is run honestly, he's the horse to beat. When I say honestly, in other words, it's an honest enough pace,
Yeah.
and closers have a chance. I agree with you. It's why he's favored. He's the horse to beat. I have no argument with that. I'm betting Prince of Pharaohs again. We'll take a look at his last race. I mean, this was a big rail. The rail was very good. Speed was good. He made a huge run to get in contention. This is coming off his race 2 races back where he got completely obliterated at the start. I thought he ran very well in here. We saw River Dog come back and win. He was outside.
River Dog was good the other day. Stretched out to the 7. Yeah. Hey, listen, I got him. I have him 4th. I'm going to use him in the late pick 5. I don't trust any of these. I don't trust Gemography. 7 Lilies has been consistent, but doesn't really win that much. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna Bronx Bomber. We're gonna ask Bronx Bomber to win 2 in a row.
Yeah,
So it's going to be 10 to 1.
I think this is a very interesting race because you have the Mass Marauder question. You have gemography off the claim for Rudy. You've got the consistent 7 Lilies. Is Bronx Bomber a horse that can get back that good form going to the front in these races? Linda's got a speed with him and a closer with Prince of Pharaohs. You've even got that Clement horse, which I noticed you kept out of your picks this time. You
He's
want me to ridicule you?
Well, I'm going to tell you what.
You did pick him second, right?
I'm going to tell you what. Him coming back from almost a year, maybe the plan is to let him roll early on, and maybe he can keep Bronx Bomber a little couple. He's not fast enough.
Did you double scratch the last time he was in? Now you mentioned triple scratching yesterday. I feel like you double scratched into a horse that day. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it might have been the Prince of Pharaohs race.
Yeah.
You might have triple scratched into Prince of Pharaohs. Now that I think about it,
I might have.
I think it was that race. He was
I'm the king of
that
that
race.
Hit a pick
Triple
4 at Saratoga one year. Remember Fox Rules?
Yeah.
Anthony Farrar paid $56 when he broke his maiden.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Do you know who ran second to him in that race? I'll give you a hint.
Chad?
So multiple Grade 1 winner. Ran third in one of the greatest turf matchups in the last 15 years or 20 years at Gulfstream. Behind two monsters.
The Tommy Bush horse?
Yeah, went over to Europe. Yeah, Unbridled Command.
Unbridled Command.
Need him for about 3,000.
I made about 4,000 that day.
So
double.
who did Unbridled Command run third to?
Animal Kingdom and Point of Entry.
Yeah.
I was Mohegan's son.
And Point of Entry somehow bid $6.
$6. I bet 1,000 to win on Point of Entry.
He still has the.
They
3,000.
closed. That was the day of the snowstorm. I couldn't get home.
Let's go to the Man of War, the first Grade 1 of many at the Belmont Park.
I could not
meeting.
get home.
My first Man of War live, which I've said many times, was here with my grandmother, sitting over there, down there. We were sitting a little bit down there. And Weah beat Tiller, I think. Weah won. Cordero rode her against the boys. And I loved her because I loved Weah. My grandmother better because my grandmother loved Angel. Oh, she loved Angel.
There were a lot of grandmothers out there that loved Angel.
She loved Angel. When we'd come to the track, she'd say, I just want to bet Bet Cordero. If I say, what do you want me to bet for? She'd say, Bet Cordero.
My Nana was a Baeza guy. It was probably a Baeza.
Really?
Yeah, but she loved Cordero, too.
I remember one day I needed a horse. It got beat a Zop at like 10 to 1, and the horse that beat it was 17 to 1. Angel Road, and my grandmother had bet a couple bucks on it, and I had to go back and be happy for her. After I tell you, it still pains me. The Man of War.
That moment, or just being happy for
all of that. Let's take a look at Yabir's last race at Newmarket, and I want to talk about this. And I think I put him on top. I think it's very close between him and Gufo. I thought we just picked different horses here. Mm-hmm. Okay, he doesn't run down a horse at 1 to 5. First of all, there was no pace whatsoever. Now, there's not really much pace in this race either with the 6 scratch.
Especially with so high coming
Big
out.
scratch for a Bond, for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't Godolphin tell so high that they wanted to be their rabbit?
Surprised they didn't bring one for him. I'm a little surprised they didn't bring one for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they probably should have. They probably will next time if he loses. The worry with him is he runs in Dubai on March 26th. He comes back 5 weeks later, and he runs in Newmarket, and now he comes here in 2 weeks. On the other hand, Charlie Appleby is not an idiot, in case you haven't noticed. He wins with just about everything he ships over to America, and they're all in huge races. So
he was 8 for 16 last year.
Yeah, I will trust that he's doing the right thing, but I do think it's a reasonable concern. But I will say one thing: if he runs the race he ran in Dubai, I don't care how good Gufo is, he will smother this. He will crush him.
I don't disagree. If he runs his Breeders' Cup turf, he's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, Gufo didn't show up that day. I'm not going to use the margin he beat Gufo.
No, I'm not using that margin. I'm just using his effort. I mean, his effort that day was Herculean. I mean, he just went 5 wide. He didn't care. He just ran by everybody.
I think it's Herculean, too. Some people say Herculean, right?
I thought it was Herculean. We have to be right.
We're
not both wrong.
It's an interesting. We're frequently both wrong. It's what we do. We'll take a look at Yabir's win. I'll let you talk about him, but Gufo's win down in Florida, and I thought he was terrific this day. And I know Aban has the edge on him today, but I just feel like these horses are too good to lose to a horse like Aban.
Andy, don't you feel if Aban's ever going to beat him, it's going to be at Gulfstream Park?
Yeah, but he didn't have the lead. Today he'll have the lead, in fairness.
That's true. He didn't have the lead in his last couple of starts, Aban. He'll have the lead today now.
He didn't win.
Yeah, he didn't win. He'll have the lead now. I just think he would have beat him on a day like this, where he had the recency, Gufo hadn't run. This is not a place conducive, A, to Gufo's style overall, and B, really to Gufo. And now he beat him pretty handily this day. Last year when Gufo got beat the nose in this event, he did not have the benefit of a prep. And now he has the benefit of the prep. And Christoph gave the, as much as I love Christoph, I believe there was some trainer talk. I believe he went to line number 76 in the trainer talk handbook and said he was 80%.
Christoph knows every line.
He was 80%.
And he knows some in 2 languages. So he's really got everybody.
Makes him doubly dangerous.
So, and the thing I liked about Gufo's last race also, he looked like a different Gufo to me. He just rolled on by. In the past, he'd have gotten up to him, and he'd done that. Christoph said to me, we were talking about that race, and he said, for all the talk, I think I made a mistake putting blinkers on him. And he kind of did it for the reason that most trainers do it, and we talk about this, it's an act of desperation. He was getting frustrated. He was hanging. He was behaving badly, and maybe he just got better. It wasn't the blinkers.
Very rare you'll see a trainer have enough conviction to put the blinkers. This horse won a grade 1 with the blinkers last year. And he ran just 4 times with blinkers. 2 wins, a third when he made that the old Gufo move. He made that move and just he tailed off. And he had, he did tail off.
Also, I'll say something else about him. A mile and 3/8 suits him better than a mile and a half, even though he won a grade 1 at a mile and a half. And probably a mile and a half suits suits Yabir better than a mile and 3/8.
He has the edge.
So there are some intangibles. Interesting matchup with these two. Not to dismiss the other ones. I do think Highland Chief is going to run reasonably well in this race. He's not a horse that wants to go a mile and 16th, and it's a horse that ran against Pile Driver and Mogul. Those are serious race horses. And I know he didn't run well last time, but he'd run well behind Pile Driver and Mogul in the past, and he has some good races. And Graham Motion is great with the Euros.
Yeah. I thought it the other one. I thought Easter might run a little bit better. I thought
this one was more likely to want the distance.
Okay.
Easter
I thought Easter might run a little better because I thought Easter might be more in closer contact with the field.
Oh.
And I wonder now, I think Pratt'll be told.
Believe it or not, the pace projector has the 5 higher. I don't know how that's based on.
That's strange.
Seems a little crazy. They both have 37 and 29 pace ratings, in case you're interested.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's what I have when I'm running to the bathroom. I'm about at 36. I thought the Peter Pan, I understand the argument of the Peter Pan that, there's no good horses in the Peter Pan. Well, there might be. We just don't know yet. The Kentucky Derby winner would have been in it if he didn't get in. Though apparently he was pointing to a lot of races, depending on who you ask at what time. But I tell you, I was talking about this with Chad Brown with electability. I said, electability feels to me like he might be a good horse and he might be kind of a phony. I have no way of, and we'll take a look at his last race, I have no way of knowing if he's
good
a
place
horse
to find
move
out.
forward. But this is that's what I like about this race for everybody. They all have a bunch of horses that might not be that good, but might actually be pretty good. And there could be a Belmont starter or two in here. And I don't think, people may laugh at that, but I think this is a time these horses can step forward. And
nobody knew who Tonalist was. Nobody knew who Sir Winston was coming
into
this
we knew
race.
Who Tonalist was.
Right.
Let's not.
We knew.
Looney Sema came back and duplicated the number, so sort of legitimized the figure. And he did the dirty work in the race. He was with the racetrack, but he did the dirty work in a race that the pace really collapsed. He's probably not the speed today. I didn't put him on top, but he can win this race.
He absolutely can win this race. I wonder, you and I have talked about this off camera. Gerardo Ortiz Jr. has to leave out of there with electability.
But Set Sail's got to go.
But Set Sail has to go. But now, keep in mind, Set Sail's seeing this shoot for the first time. He's out of Southern California. He's drawn inside.
Broke from the rail last time.
Broke from the rail last time on the wire. Not out of a chute.
Oh, right. That was a 2-turn race.
So it's a different kettle of fish here at Belmont. And listen, he can absolutely
we'll get to him.
win.
We'll get to him.
But electability, I think if you're a rad, you have to come out of there running because right. Set Sail's in theory supposed to be coming from the inside.
Don't take away what the horse gives you. He's got speed. He's not a bullet, but he's got speed.
We the people is going to be running from his outside.
I agree. Let's talk about We the People you have on top, and I have second here. We'll show his win. Give us your spiel on him.
I'm a fan, and he was real good in his first 2 races. Now, in his first 2 starts, and this is the second win. This is the allowance win, optional claimer. He kind of fought Florent Giroux in both of his starts. He didn't really settle. That's a big concern here with the 5/8 of a mile straight away from the chute here, going a mile and an eighth. Because these horses see daylight, right? Speed horses, turns are their friend because it slows them down a little bit. This horse is going to have 5/8 of a mile to run to daylight, and I don't know if he gets if he gets headstrong, if he gets, if he sees that daylight and he just runs off a little bit. Flavien Prat got to know him a little bit last time, but the truth of the matter is he looked like a shell of the horse that walked onto the track the first two times.
I want to talk to Maggie about this horse.
Yeah, I think that's a great
I feel like
idea.
I remember Maggie because I see the Washi comment. And maybe it's one of those things where you see the comment and it makes your brain think something you didn't hear. But I feel like Maggie may have commented.
He was a mess.
That she didn't like this
He
horse.
was a complete
She was
mess.
down there. I'm sure
she was down there.
right?
Yeah, Alcantara Derby.
I feel like she may have commented on this and then he gets caught 5 wide in the first turn.
His day was over 3/16 of a mile
I
into
didn't
the
like
race.
him last time, but one of the reasons I also didn't like him last time was he was rushed into that race. 3 weeks after that ring, they were rushing to get in there. And that's something that often doesn't work. In his case, the way he behaved indicates there may be some relationship, and now he has 6 weeks. But I feel about the same with him as electability. I think he might be a phony, too. I'm not saying he's not okay, but I don't have any conviction that he's necessarily that good, and they both can win this race. As far as Set Sail, and we'll take a look at his maiden win, I really, originally I was going to pick We the People, and I thought about this race. I understand one of the reasons Richard Mandela might have shipped was he had concerns about getting a non-winners of 1 to go out in California.
Well, they get 6 in the maiden race.
But having said that, the fact that he not only shipped this horse, but he came with this horse. Now, unless he came to see you, or there's something we don't know.
Dick yet.
Richard Mandela, when is the last time he was at Belmont?
Probably in all
Do you know what his last
likelihood.
win was?
I'm sorry.
Do you know what his last win was? Dave Grenig wrote it. His last win. He's run 3 horses in the last 5 years. His last win, 2001.
I was going to say 2010.
Beholder was the one. Was
Beholder got
2
beat.
back.
Beholder got beat with closed hatches and
bit
Princess
of an
Soma.
issue, and it was a killer field.
Yeah.
There was another horse he ran.
He ran a horse in the Belmont?
Can't remember. Dave Grenig wrote about his column.
Wow.
I can't believe this guy is shipping this horse cross country, coming with the horse, unless he has high hopes. Doesn't mean the horse is going to win.
Right.
But I just took him. He's going to be the speed. I figured he wouldn't be favored. We talked about Rudy Brissett's horse. Let's talk about Western River. Smart friends of mine like Western River. I don't like this horse at all.
Full to Creator, who won the Belmont back in 2016.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry?
Beat me a nose. Thank you.
I scored out. I'm sorry.
You were lucky. You did it on your friend's birthday.
This guy trying to guilt me 6 years later.
I'm still bitter, clearly.
This is his third start off of a lengthy layoff. I mean, he's really come back.
He did run last time.
Yes, he did.
I'm not going to deny it.
Yes,
he ran.
Did. And if he runs to his pedigree, distance is going to be his friend. His running style is supposed to love the big course and the one sweeping turn here at Belmont Park.
On his pace.
I feel the same way about Complete Agenda, who will be a better price
well,
than
I'll tell you
Western
something else
River.
about Complete Agenda. He beat the bias last time. Yeah. That was an inside track.
I loved him that day.
It was a goofy race.
And he was goofy, and he looks like a horse who's still trying to figure it out. And again,
he's got to get faster, but
his running style is supposed to like this course. Mm-hmm. He's built for Belmont Park.
But he has to get faster.
Must get faster.
They're all faster.
They're all faster than him
by a lot.
Must get faster.
That's a concern.
But he almost has to be 7-8 to 1 in here.
Even Golden Glider. I mean, the thing is, I think Golden Glider's a little dressed up by circumstance. The pace held together, and I don't think there was much behind him. That's my feeling, even though he lost to good horses. Yeah. But he did run well last time. Interesting Peter Pan. I'm looking forward to
race.
It. Race number 10, the Peter Brandt, Chad Brown, Turf Philly Stake, part
Invitational.
Part wheat. I mean,
what's wheat?
8.
Thanks.
It's a bad way to say it. Wheat. Yeah. It's probably a bad.
Wheat?
H-U-I-T.
Wheat?
I don't know. I probably butchered.
Almost like a whistle.
I'm sure I butchered like everything. I've never seen anything like the embarrassment of riches that Peter currently has with Phil. I mean, he went out and paid over $3 million.
How about that horse?
$3 million
How about that horse on Derby Day?
Well, this horse ran against that horse and got beaten in the nose last year at a mile. We'll take a look at her win in the Prix de l'Opera, going a mile and a quarter. Now, keep in mind, he and Michael Tabor, who's obviously part of Coolmore, bought this horse, and this horse will be running in Michael's colors, actually, as Peter has the 2. This is a mile and a quarter race. They paid $3 million. I don't know how much she has in broodmare value, but she might have $2 million in broodmare value. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how much they paid for her as a racehorse. I'm not, I can't. I know that she's a bit slower. I was going to pick the 2. I just think she made it.
You knew that was you know me so well. That was what I mean. I think, we have 2 grade 1s now during the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival for fillies and mares on the turf. The New York is now a grade 1, and we have the Just a Game. I would imagine we'll see both of these fillies, provided all goes well today. Well, Leominster's a mare. I would imagine we will see
them in the New York.
I would imagine. Well, yeah. Well,
Peter might have the entire field.
He might have the entire field.
That Philly Virginia Joy the other day.
Yeah.
As far as Lemista will show her race in the Bogate last year. She ran super.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, she also got an unbelievably great ride, but she got some ride by IRAD in this race. This race would make her very tough in here. And Harvey's Goyle, I know her year was a disappointment, but she had everything her own way. She was walking on the front end and blah, 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 blah,
This
blah.
filly ran her eyeballs out.
She ran super.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of fell apart.
Well, you know what my funny thing is? I almost think she might be better with some less ground. And that's the reason I wanted her today. I feel like she
ran all right with more ground over in Europe.
I guess.
I mean, I hear you, but here's the problem with that. Her race in Saratoga was atrocious. It didn't matter if that race was 3 furlongs or 9 miles.
Right.
She was awful. Now, she did not run badly in the Bev D.
But she wasn't gaining any ground.
Yeah, I just felt like she was flat.
I think the shorter distances are going to be what she wants.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't want to.
I think we'll see Leominster in just a game.
No, because he's already got 2 fillies she can't beat in there. He's got that filly you mentioned, the Devil. Speak of the Devil, and he's got the Killer, the ex-Paul Pompa horse. His name is
Regal Glory.
Yeah, Regal Glory. He's not going to run a list against them.
You don't think this filly, if she improves, could be as good as them?
We'll see. We'll see what she does today.
I think this filly's first race was big.
Her first race was good. I agree.
First race was
huge.
And if I'm right and she wants less ground, maybe that's what she needs.
That's one of the reasons I like Regier. Chad gets these Euros to run first time.
I don't know. Listen.
They show up and they run first time.
I mean, you got to give.
I was thinking about that.
We have to 30 seconds on Plum Ali, right?
Yeah,
she has the recency.
Anthony, I would never dismiss. Well, the other thing about Plum Ali is she's going to be forward.
Yeah.
And those horses are going to be far back.
Yep.
I don't think she's good enough to beat these horses, and we'll take a look at her beating our friend Technical Analysis, who's running in the Gallarette, I believe, next weekend on Preakness Day.
Okay.
I'll be there representing, so don't worry.
You going Preakness?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot early voting. Very good.
I really like this horse, and being more forward has helped her. I just don't know if she can beat the kind of Tigers that Chad's got in this
I don't disagree with you, but she's going to be in front, right? I guess Stolen Holiday is going to go to the lead and she'll sit second, or Mandy can get aggressive and go. Whatever the case is,
sit second.
She's going to be laying no worse than second on paper, right?
Listen, I don't think High Opinion's bad. I mean, it's not like High Opinion's a bum.
Still trying to figure out what to do with her.
But she's got talent.
I don't disagree.
I'm just afraid they're just dwarfed by the horses on the inside.
She would need 3 horses to even Plum Ali's probably.
Wait a minute.
No, she might not be.
She's got races that can beat Plum Ali.
She does. So she'd need 2.5 horses to not show up.
Yes, it's going to be very hard to beat both Chad Browns, but it's happened before. Race number 11. I thought race number 11, where I knew you'd scratch the same horse as me, but I also think this is an extraordinarily interesting race. I feel like I know we've only got about 5 minutes left. I feel like you and I could talk about this race for about 15 minutes. Why did you land on Rigby?
I mean, she ran against Statebridge one time, and then they ran her a mile and a 16th in the Jessamine, where she didn't belong. And then she had she didn't have a good time of it in the Stewart Manor.
Well, I don't know what Jorge Vargas, and I like Jorge, but I don't know what he was doing in that race, because she just dropped. She plummeted to the back of the pack. But the thing was, if you blinked,
she came flying.
If you blinked, he made this early move and just slingshotted into the race.
She was flying,
and she grounded out in the stretch. She made this huge middle move, and the winner of the race, Mystic Eyes, was the speed. So it's not as though the race just completely fell apart.
See Mystic Eyes tonight.
Oh yeah, we'll try to beat that Wesley Ward horse in the what is it called? The
Twilight Gleaming in the Mamazelle.
I thought this horse could be an interesting horse, turning 3 to improve, but there's a lot of horses can win here. I mean, Palace Gossip, I think, is really the horse to beat. I think she's pretty good for Tony. She's going to have to get 7 furlongs, and she's going to have to stalk Active Congress in all likelihood. Right. But I do think she's the horse to beat in this race.
I don't disagree. I put a third.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's run well in all her races. Sassy Melissa got a very good trip to beat her last time. And Sassy Melissa
had the recency.
She
had a race under her belt.
So, I mean, I'm not against her, but there are other horses in here. I mean, I don't think Master of Tunes is impossible. You get a rider switch those ARTs. I mean, Johnny Velasquez gave this horse a tremendous ride back in a race that fell apart.
Let me ask you a stupid question. I know she has to get faster. Is Active Congress impossible?
Yes.
You really think so?
Yes.
You think her getting loose on the lead
I think she's impossible.
I mean, she kept going the other day, Andy.
I think she's impossible.
Okay.
I think she beat a terrible field last time out, and she's going to have Palace Gossip.
She's
who's a better
supposed to
horse
have
than her
Palace
right
Gossip
outside
on
of
her.
her.
She's supposed to.
With all due respect, I'll lose. Listen, who knows? You like her, use her.
I'm just saying, yeah.
I don't like her.
I don't love
I think
her, but-
finest work, I'll say something about finest work. You see this horse, and a knee-jerk reaction might be, I don't really see that trainer very often. Go to George Weaver. Well, first of all, George's numbers off trainer switching the turf. He's 4 for 21, 6 hitting the board, $1.45 ROI. Oh, we've got it. Look at that. Like
Bond
magic.
cooled off considerably since the end of Aqua.
And also, the guy's a good trainer.
Guy's an
this
excellent trainer.
He's winning 16%. He's winning the same level that George has been doing in general. So I don't really see why this is some sort of major switch. Not that the horse is impossible anyway.
No.
Do you think Dufresne is impossible?
Nope. I don't think
Just
Dufresne's
kept some
impossible.
good company and ran okay. Those were 2-year-old races.
Autumn Glory's probably not
Autumn
impossible.
Glory, who knows? I mean, he's kind of an unknown, 7 furlongs. So, I mean, I think any of, for me, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11.
And I had all of those and Act of Congress open, just thinking if she gets loose on the lead, stranger things have happened.
I can't think of any offhand, but I'll take your word for it. See how
All
much
right,
fun we
wise guy.
had talking about the card. You, too, can have a lot of fun. A good card today, a lot going on, and the best way to play it, as always, is to play through Naira Bets. Head on over to NairaBets.com. Use the promo code MATCH200, and we will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. What else do we have? We have that $40 bonus. I opted in during the break. You bet a total of $200 on all the stake races combined. Doesn't have to be 40 each, whatever denominations. Do it through Naira Bets. Opt in, and you will get a $40 bonus. We also have the Cross Country Pick 5. It's Cross County, Cross Infield. All 5 stakes here. Races 3, 5, 8, 9, and 10. Be all wrapped up before you go home. We also have, but don't leave, because 9 to 11:30 tonight, the Big A will be on with Acacia, covering Churchill and Meadowlands. $39,561 in the carryover in the Pick 6. That starts in race 6. We also have Belmont Stakes tickets are on sale. Go to BelmontStakes.com for more information. Don't miss out on what's going to be a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous day of racing. We'll see if the Derby winner, he is pointing towards the Belmont Stakes. Well, we hope that he shows up. Also, 4:30. This is just FS2, and then 9 to 11:30. Mostly Anthony. Half hour of me, and 2.5 hours of Anthony. Take of that what you will. We're also on 2 to 6. I'm sure we're on YouTube, but we're on different networks and stuff. Maybe SNY. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, that's it. Excited?
Yeah.
I am too. I also love the fact that we're back in Belmont and the weather got nice. I hate when we first get here.
Weather's
it's 50
beautiful.
degrees and you're cold. You want to be at Belmont.
I'll be downstairs milling about, doing the videos today, holding court on the patio. Beautiful day. And I'll go to work tonight again. Work. We call this work. Imagine this.
Paid to talk
Lucky
about
are we.
racing. We're done. We're lucky and we're done. Johnny I is not done. He is just getting warmed up. He's coming up next to reprise the Scratch and Changes. Have a wonderful day.